we didn't come here to talk about football. We came here to talk telly. Now, this is the 8th episode of Talking Telly. Oh god, I don't think I changed it. Oh yeah, 8th episode of Talking Telly, and you may look in the top left corner of your screen and see something that is not Muju, and it's not Patrick Bateman. It is a walrus with the big bad walrus. Now, we are joined by a special guest due to our co-host, Owen, aka Muju, being on holidays. So, we are joined by the new Owen. Introduce yourself, Owen.
What's up? I'm Owen. I'm less talkative than the other Owen, so don't be expecting much out of me. But I'm here nonetheless.
Yeah. Exactly. He's
just to brighten everyone's day.
Exactly. A nice volunteer that, couldn't
leave me all hanging.
Yeah.
Couldn't leave the podcast empty for a week.
Exactly.
So I'm here.
The show must go on, even though it didn't go on during the exams, but
Yeah,
it must
exams,
it must go on when we decide that it must go on.
Exactly.
Ooh. Now, if you look at your screen, you should see a big ass picture of Kenobi. Now, yeah. So
that's actually a pretty cool picture.
It's also not low quality.
I'm liking Ewan's style.
Yeah.
That older, I don't know, older Uncle Kenobi look.
Old man Kenobi, old Ben Kenobi.
Literally. It reminds me. Have you ever seen the there's a statue, one of those 500 quid statues that those I don't even know what you would class them as, but there's
collectors?
One of them with Obi-Wan. Yeah, exactly. And there's one with Obi-Wan. He's got his own lightsaber and Qui-Gon's lightsaber.
Yeah.
And I just remember seeing a picture of it, but I was like, it looked really cool.
So for anyone who doesn't know, Kenobi is a show that came out about 2 weeks. Well, actually, last week. Yeah, last Wednesday, the first 2 episodes came out, and it takes place after the 3rd Star Wars movie, but before the 4th one, and it follows Obi-Wan Kenobi, played by Ewan McGregor, as he must go on his adventures and whatnot. And it's everyone has been waiting to see it. Kenobi was announced 2, 3, 4 years ago. It's been in the workings for a while. It was rumored.
Did you announce that long ago?
It was rumored for a long time. Then people were thinking, confirmed. It was officially announced at 2019, and the rumors, and the rumors were from 2018 and maybe even before. Ever since Mandalorian, let me check when Mandalorian came out. Ever since Mandalorian comes out in 2019, so 2018 when they were making Mandalorian, people are thinking if they're making Mandalorian and this is a success, they can make Kenobi and this and that. And lo and behold, 3 years later, we have Kenobi, and it's been a long wait. And we've had good shows like Mandalorian, last season of Clone Wars, and we've had shows that I haven't seen, but are renowned as bad shows like the Book of Boba Fett, which consists of big fat Boba just chilling on Tatooine, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. They'll put it this way, as people who would consider themselves Star Wars fans, we haven't bothered to watch it, so I think that speaks volumes about just how shit it must be.
Yeah.
Then again, maybe you could also argue we're not qualified to give an opinion on it if we haven't watched it.
Yeah.
So, take your pick.
The ultimate debate. Don't watch it because it's not good, but if you watch it, then you've wasted your time, But another big thing that Kenobi announced was the return of Hayden Christensen as Vader and Anakin in some form, which I was very excited for. Just seeing him again on the screen after everything, all the harshness that was the prequels. Now people love the prequels, but 15 years ago people hate.
People were Hayden Christensen literally fell into an actual depression because his career was ruined. Because everyone was shitting on the movie so bad that nobody wanted to hire him.
Yeah.
And he didn't do anything wrong. He literally played the role perfectly. But it was if you don't watch Star Wars as a kid, chances are you're never gonna enjoy the prequels, and that's fair.
Yeah.
But it's he played with the script he was given,
which
wasn't very good.
No.
Actually, no. Sorry. Let me rephrase that. It was shit. It was not good.
Yeah.
he played it like as well as he possibly could have.
Like Star Wars, a cheesy show, like a cheesy premise. No, it was always cheesy. And Hayden Christensen, like the moody, broody Anakin, that's what he was. Like he's supposed to be this emotionally stunted, almost, basically in this cult. If you think about it, emotionally stunted, like repressed person. So obviously he's gonna act that way. But yeah, the only movie he was in after that was a Jumper. That's on Film 4 if you ever catch it. It's actually not that bad. But yeah.
There's a channel I haven't been on in a while.
Really?
That used to be my go-to back before there was any Netflix in the house or anything. It's always like, oh, there's something good on Film 4, but I haven't been on it in ages.
I always check up on it to see if there's anything good. Sometimes I watch it, sometimes I don't. But yeah, just this Wednesday, the 3rd episode of Kenobi came out. So I'm just gonna say right now, we will talk about the first 2 episodes in this podcast. We'll go through all the spoilers for the first 3. Now, we don't know anything that happens after. We're not clued in. We don't know any leaks. I don't know if there have been leaks, but I don't know any. And now Owen does as well. So yeah, prepare yourselves for spoilers soon. But let's just start off with episode 1. What did you think of? Actually, what do you think of Kenobi as a whole? The first 3 episodes. What are your impressions?
Well, easily the 3rd episode is like the best by far for like obvious reasons.
Yeah.
When we eventually get to like what happened. Like, put it this way, it's the most action-packed episode.
Yeah.
And as someone with like I wouldn't necessarily say a short attention span, but I want something good going on in front of me. I was like, that episode was by far like the best. They're like, it was slow, but at no point did I feel like it was an effort watching it.
Yeah.
I was like like happy to watch it. It really flew under my radar though, because I knew the show was coming out, but I didn't know when. And then my phone gave me a notification. It was like, Disney Plus, watch the first 2 episodes of Kenobi, and I was like, excuse me? Okay. If I'm gonna be honest, I can't fully remember exactly. It's like, that is the that's the one where it cuts between Leia and like between Ben like just working his way through Tatooine,
The first
doing
episode.
living the quiet life, and then Leia being like just I suppose a menace to her parents.
Yeah.
Like, just being a child.
Yeah.
No, it was a good episode. I mean, there's not really much, like a massive amount that went on apart from that is the one where she gets. Well, spoiler, but I suppose you already gave that warning, so it's fine. Like, she does get kidnapped in the first episode.
Yeah, at the end of the first episode, she gets
Oh, actually, sorry. Side note, but it works. Did you know that the bald guy is Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers?
I was watching it and I was thinking, I know this guy. At first, I thought it was the bald guy from 8 Mile that shoots himself in the foot, but it's Flea from Red Hot Chili Peppers. If anyone doesn't know, Flea is the main drummer of Red Hot Chili Peppers. He is in Kenobi, and I mean, it's a weird cameo, but like it's cool.
I wonder, was he like a known Star Wars fan, and that's why he was in it, or was it just completely random that they happened to? He just popped in.
Yeah, I mean, God knows how that works. But
there you go. So if you're a Red Hot Chili Peppers fan, watch Kenobi.
Yeah.
The first episode, anyway.
First two.
Oh, true. Yeah, he's in the second one. Yeah, first episode was like good introduction.
Yeah.
It kind of just gives. I feel like the thing it captures the most is just Obi-Wan's just descent into Ben. He's just he is just a normal fella. And you can see. I think it's kind of soul crushing when you watch. It's also in the first episode, isn't it? When your man, he has half his wages cut.
Yeah.
He's so basically there's like they're literally cutting up this like massive like monster for like meat on Tatooine. It's all set up. It's like a normal
job.
Like just like there's nothing special about it. And when they go to punch out their cards, a guy is only awarded like half the credits that he like deserves. And the foreman, the boss, like doesn't care. You know, your man is like, oh, I have a family to feed. What am I supposed to do? And the guy is like stereotypical. He's just like, no, not my problem. And you can just see the look on Obi-Wan's face as he wants to do something, because that's all he's ever done is help people. But he just can't, because he has to lay under the radar, because if he gets killed, well then, you know, that spells, well, like, the whole essence of Star Wars, like, it wouldn't work. Because, like, Obi-Wan's purpose in life at that point is to protect Luke.
Yeah.
So he has to bite his tongue and completely
Suck it up.
go against everything he's ever done.
I love the way the Inquisitors look. Obviously, the Grand Inquisitor, obviously, you know, the way he looks in Rebels, his head is a bit like smaller now.
Elongated. Yeah.
But I love the way they look. I really like the second brother, the green Asian guy. He's really cool.
Yeah.
Obviously, Rava is really good, and the cat lady. She's cool.
Yeah, the orange one.
Yeah.
Is it just me, or does your man, the Asian, the second brother, his like helmet kind of reminds me of Embo's helmet? You know, the bounty hunter in the Clone Wars?
Yeah, it's very similar. Very similar. Yeah. It's a bit smaller though. Embo he like surfs on that
It's
in
just
one
like
episode.
Captain America's shield,
Yeah.
basically.
But the presentation is great. Like, I've always loved the way they show the Sith, the Empire especially. It's very like technocratic. I don't want to say like Hitler-y Nazi, but it's very like black order, death, structure.
Oh, that's another thing I know. The Stormtrooper armor, like, just looks really good.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it looks a lot more like realistic.
Uh-huh.
Like even the way they walk.
Yeah.
Like clearly with set design, they've probably made it a lot less clunky, but it really shows when the actors are walking around.
Yeah.
Like they don't look as constricted.
Mm-hmm. Actually, my only criticism, this is my literally only criticism. Apart from it maybe sometimes being a tiny bit dark, I just have to turn it up. But when Leia gets captured, you know the way she's running away, and they're like running after her, yeah.
Oh, that was such a childlike cartoon mo. Okay, so the chase scene is dragged out for like a minute longer than it should. Like, this is 3 grown men chasing like a 10-year-old girl, and she like hops over a branch, and he's like, "Oh gosh darn it, what can I do?" And he like has to double back and run the opposite way, and it's like, man, you could have just like, I don't know,
and
fucking broken it maybe.
But the other guy like grabs it and like and like vaults over the branch, like, oh my god, Jesus Christ, that branch really got me there.
Dear Lord,
and the way,
what am I meant to do?
Like the way they're running after her, they're like, I'd assume they just like charge you, but they're like squatting down with their arms like out, and they're like, I'm gonna get you. I'd assume like
it's pretty goofy.
Like if they were doing like a messing with her type of situation where they know they've got her, so they're just messing with her. But like they weren't.
It was she was genuinely like getting away from them.
They were like, oh my god. But obviously Star Wars has always been pretty goofy, so like you let that slide.
And like at the end of the day, I wouldn't necessarily say it's a kids show, but like I mean, it is at the same cut.
Like there's always like the whole idea of Lola, that's just pandering to children, which I know a lot of people on the internet like hate stuff like that, like the Quargs in the sequels, you know, the little like bird thingies.
Yeah.
A lot of people hate stuff like that because like the kids like it, or like Baby Yoda because it's so merchandisable. Well, I think it's fine. I mean, look, kids are always gonna buy stuff. On the internet's always going to be angry.
To get fucking Disney to make an R-rated Star Wars.
Oh, I mean, that.
I know a topic they could choose.
I mean, we might as well get into the third episode. Third episode is actually wait, just before that, another problem. This is the other small problem I have. So second episode, Rava. Throughout the first 2 episodes, Rava is, she's disobeying the Grand Inquisitor. She's going on her own. She's, destined. She believes she's destined to capture Kenobi and earn her destiny, her right to gain more power and to progress up the Sith ladder, basically. And
indeed, for anyone who doesn't watch Star Wars, the entire essence of working up the Sith is just by betraying the person who's ahead of you.
And the Grand Inquisitor, like, he comes up and he's like, hey, you can't do this, like right when she's at Kenobi, and they don't see him, and she stabs him in the stomach and kills him. I'm not angry with the way she killed him, but the problem is the Grand Inquisitor is in Rebels, and Rebels, I'm pretty sure it takes place after Kenobi.
Yeah, I heard that
So,
exact point before.
are they gonna bring the Grand Inquisitor back in like the last episode, or what are they gonna do? Because
Yeah, I don't know. It's a good question.
they, the only thing I can say is either that wasn't the same Grand Inquisitor, that they'll get a new one that has taller and has the taller head, but like it it doesn't really make like there's no reason for her to. It seems foolish to make such a problem, if you know what I mean. Like Rebels is canon. Rebels was made by Disney after the Lucasfilm split, so they can't say it's not canon like Force Unleashed or whatever. But so and the Inquisitor is like I watched the first 2-3 seasons of Rebels. And I thought the Inquisitor was very cool. He's intimidating. He's got the spinning lightsaber. He looks like a really Sith, like old timey Sith. He looks really good, and I have no idea what they're gonna do now that he just got stabbed in the stomach. Maybe they'll say he survived because he only got hit in the stomach. He wasn't like decapitated. But
Yeah, Star Wars is renowned for stuff like that.
yeah, I mean, those two are my only criticisms. Now, let's just get on to episode 3 because I saw that today, and oh, that was a phenomenal episode.
Yeah.
First,
Yeah, it's like I feel like the one of the like the point or like the statement I'm gonna make to lead into it is if you see Rogue One, you know that's
yeah.
like go on.
Meet Critique, also known as the co-host on, is in the chat. And I just want to say, I want to ask him, has he seen episode 3? Because if he hasn't, then we're about to spoil it right now. Have you seen episode 3? Put it in the chat if you have. Because if you haven't, then oh boy, are you in for spoilers. Also, if you look at the stream, you can't see the thing come up. And then please say, we're going to give you, because there's feedback on the stream, oh sorry, delay, we'll give you 1 minute to say if you have or haven't seen episode 3. Yeah, I know you're typing right now, so please answer if he's in episode 3. Yeah, basically saying Ewan McGregor is seriously good in this, seriously good acting all around. Yeah, the acting is phenomenal. It's, you know, you won in episode 3, this isn't a spoiler, the one that plays the Imperial Resistance person, if you know what I mean.
Episode 3.
Yeah. You won.
Yeah, the officer.
Yeah. She's a big character in Game of Thrones. I was like, oh my god. Yeah, well, not like a huge character, but she's in season 4, 5, 6, 7. Like she's important. Oh no!
Any actor ever has been involved in Game of Thrones.
Alright, no, he's seen the first 3 episodes.
Nice.
Wait.
So like,
wait, he's saying first 3 episodes are good, but a bit of a letdown. I don't know how is he getting schooled by a child. Who? I mean, what do you mean school? Vader scenes are questionable. Some pogs, some bogs. Gotta run, gents. Hopefully be back on in a few. Oh, okay, damn. Controversial opinions, which is what we like to hear.
But I'm particularly, I don't know, what would you say, irked by the Vader scenes questionable. I think the opposite.
The only thing I can think of that he might think is questionable is, I'll mention after we've done the Vader scenes, but let's just get straight on to the Vader scenes. Firstly, at the end of episode 2, they show Vader, and in this episode they show him being basically like built in the back of the tank, like set up for his routine operations, and he's sitting there on Mustafar, I assume, talking to Rava through the holocron, talking to her through the World Wide Web that is Star Wars. And
through Facebook Messenger.
Yeah, exactly. And
they have a group chat.
I'm gonna say his office, his palace looks so good. Like the red light in there, it's so crisp. Oh my god, it looks phenomenal. Him sitting there in his throne, like, it looks great, phenomenal. And his whole presence throughout that episode. It's the first time we see Vader. Hayden Christensen is like Vader, and he's great. Like, he sounds exactly like Vader sounds. He moves like Vader, stiff but also not super stiff. You see Vader's brutality, which is something you don't see I mean, this is a 12th show, so they do it really well. But in the original movies, Vader, you don't see him being brutal. Like, he chokes one or two people. In his fight scenes, obviously, it's a product of its time. It's not great. And in Rogue One, as you said, you see Vader going full Vader. And in this,
He's like comic book Vader.
I would say he's even better in this. When he's walking Go ahead.
Like, okay, so he walks through a village and essentially, like, delivers, like, you could say, a reign of terror almost.
Yeah.
Like, isn't it, he chokes that dad, and doesn't he, like, literally snap, like, a teenager's neck?
A boy runs out and he's like, Dad! And he pushes the boy to the side and he just snaps his neck. And he's walking along, you know, breathing in, and he grabs this girl and he's just dragging her along with the force. And she's screaming, he's just dragging her, and he's just looking. And he's waiting for Kenobi to come out and, like, help them, you know? And, it's just so... Like, this is Vader. This is what we've been wanting for the last 20, 40 years. This intimidating aura and presence that, in my opinion, wasn't felt in the movies, apart from Rogue One. I was never a huge fan of Vader in the movies, because I never thought he was intimidating the way he is now, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And he looked...
100%. In the movies, he's nothing.
He looks and acts phenomenal. And then he meets up with Kenobi, and you're thinking, alright, they're gonna fight. And Kenobi, as the team in the show is, he runs. He looks at him, picks up his lightsaber, which Vader ignites his red one, and it just looks phenomenal. And Kenobi just books it. He's like, oh, I can't do this. Like, this isn't for me. And he runs. He's terrified that Anakin is still alive.
There's like, there is, like, a brief, I honestly wouldn't even call it a fight, because, like, you can clearly tell that, like, Vader, because, I mean, it's not Anakin at that point, it is just Darth Vader. He's just toying with Obi-Wan.
Completely.
Like, Obi-Wan is, like, just weak. He can't do anything. Like, in a duel, he's, like, Vader's just slapping his lightsaber around the place, and Obi-Wan can, like, essentially hold it in front of him, and that's about it.
Like, Vader's he's one-handed, just, like, bashing him, not even trying. And Obi-Wan is hanging on for dear life.
Yeah. But then, inevitably, well, actually, I suppose, when you're watching it, you wouldn't expect that it's going to get to the point that it does.
Yeah.
But, like, you would kind of imagine in true Star Wars fashion, it'll be like, oh, they clash lightsabers a bit, something happens, boom, Obi-Wan runs away.
Yeah.
But no, instead, like, Vader catches him. And you're kind of thinking, okay, well, we're only on the 3rd episode, nothing much is going to happen here. It's going to be like, oh, some questions, someone's going to save him. No, like, Vader essentially pours, like, fuel onto the ground, lights it on fire, and holds Obi-Wan down in it to, like, replicate the idea of how he was burned on Mustafar, like, 10 years beforehand. And it's, like, horrible, because the whole time, like, Obi-Wan is just screaming in pain as he's, like, just being burned alive, essentially.
Oh, it's so good. Like, Vader's sitting there, he's standing there and he's like, this is but a fraction of the pain you will experience when I'm done with you, Kenobi or Obi-Wan. And it's so, you can see Vader, like, he doesn't want to just kill him. He needs to experience what he's experienced. He needs Kenobi to just suffer. He's full of rage, full of anger. He doesn't care how long this will take. For him, this could last a millennium. Seeing his former master, being literally burned alive is, I mean, it's such a good scene. When then you have the rebel helper coming in and shooting up the place, and they're running away. I think, if I'm to guess what Owen thinks is questionable, is this. So the big fire comes in, and it looks really cool. It's separating them, yeah.
Do you think the fact that Vader just doesn't walk straight through it?
That, or Vader sees them, you know. Vader could have pulled them back, you know what I mean?
Oh, entirely, yeah, definitely.
And it's like, why is the question? Like, why didn't he do that? And that's like
nothing other than continuity of the show.
Yeah.
Because, like, in every like there is no way that he couldn't have just gotten them right then and there. Like, he easily could have, like, he could have just snapped her neck in, like, 0.2 of a second, and just immediately, like, and he could have walked through it, because, like, for people who don't know, Darth Vader's suit is literally impervious to fire. Like, it is fireproof. He can walk straight through it, because it's like what's the word? It's almost like a throwback to the fact that he's in that suit because he got burned alive.
Yeah.
So
He doesn't
that
want it to
suit
happen
is-
again.
yeah. So like 100%, yeah, he could have just fucked them both up right then and there, but I kind of just accept that as, hey, we've still got other episodes
Yeah.
to do.
See, the only thing is, I feel like you could always do that better, in my opinion. Like, I don't see that as a big problem, because when you're watching it, you go, yeah, sure, okay. But for the true, I'm not like, Kenobi's a really good show, don't get me wrong. For the truly great shows, you don't experience something like this, because the writers are smart enough. Like, let's say the fire's happening, Kenobi's burning. You could have just had like you whip out like, I feel like a smoke grenade would have been better. Or like, the fire was cool though. I'm trying to, like, I'm thinking because
Honestly, the only like, and like they can't do it because of the way the scene's like built up. But like the only real way you could have like distracted Vader enough realistically is if there was like 10 other like rebel soldiers
actually,
all firing.
Like let's just say a young one, she has her little hidey hole. Let's say she whips up like some grenades or like a little machine gun. And she pops up, she gets up on the mountain, on the little hill, and she like starts putting out a bipod of like a mounted gun, you know.
Yeah.
And then instead of like just shooting some people with a pistol, she just goes brrrr and starts gunning them down. And then they're like, oh shit, you know. And they're distracted by this flurry of blasts that allows Kenobi to be saved, you know. Like,
Yeah, no, like I completely get the argument, but I suppose stuff like that is like, I never really let that bother me because I just accept it as we've still got other episodes to go, and as far as I'm concerned, what just happened was cool. So
if that was the last episode, then that would have been like, oh, I mean, come on.
Yeah, no, entirely, because he would have been like, what the fuck.
But
no, I mean that's a fair complaint, but definitely not something that bothers me.
No, Leia gets captured at the end by Rava, and I'm interested to see what's gonna happen to Rava. Is like I personally, I assume she's gonna die by the end of the show. Like that's what I guess. But what do you think is gonna happen? Like, what are your theories?
I mean, I feel like the only real thing that can happen is she can die, because there's not really anything. Like, I can almost imagine her death is going to be something similar to Trilla from Fallen Order. Like, in the end, she's like, you could argue, you know, essentially returns to the light side, or at least forgives.
Well, I don't think Rava's gonna turn to the light side.
Is there any like what's it called? Is there any like known backstory for her at all?
Nope.
Yeah.
I don't think she should get backstory. I think she's a perfectly good villain without a backstory. I think she should die. See, the show needs to end in a way that Kenobi is still safe on Tatooine for the next like 10 years for Luke to grow up, 10-15 years old. Yeah. So and they know he's alive completely. They've seen him now. So how does he do it that they don't find him, you know, for the next 10-15 years? That's what I'm interested in. I think maybe he fakes his death, but I don't know. It's really tough. I think he's gonna kill Rava in the end. I think he's gonna realize that even though he can't help people like as much as he could, and he can, I think he's gonna realize that even though he can't help, he still must be in tune with the Force, must be ready at all times in case something like this happens again. He must be ready, must like try and find Qui-Gon, and I think he's gonna kill her in the end, and he'll be like, pow, and he kills her.
That's another thing I like about the show, is how you can like see Obi-Wan, like when Leia's fallen from the building and he has to save her. You can see how like his lack of connection with the Force, because it takes so much effort for him to do something that like 10 years prior would have been so simple.
Yeah. It's
like, I can levitate someone. Wow, how difficult! And now it's like it's physically straining for him to do it.
I mean, it's just great to see like Ben, like old Ben. Yeah, that's what they call him, old Ben Kenobi. That's what Luke calls him. I wonder. I doubt, but do you think we could see like a mall? Not to see that mall appear, but see like a little. Because at the end of Rebels, Darth Maul attacks Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan kills him. And Darth Maul is fully active at this point. He is part of the Shadow Syndicate. The syndicate of. He's part of a big shadow crime syndicate. He rules it, and he's fully active. He's in the end credit scene of Han Solo, which probably takes place around this time, actually, honestly. So yeah, I think I hope that we'll get a little like Maul reference or something. I don't know, because I mean I love Darth Maul, and obviously he is completely tied to Kenobi. I think it'd be perfect to like reference him in some way, you know. Like
that almost makes like Darth Maul's character even more tragic, is
Yeah.
because like Darth Maul is obsessed with Obi-Wan,
Completely.
like the same way that Darth Vader is obsessed with Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
But Obi-Wan has like no concern for Darth Maul whatsoever. Like Obi-Wan's, like you could, he isn't really, but at the same time he's somewhat obsessed with Darth Vader once he learns that, like Darth Vader is Anakin, you know, he's still alive. But like Darth Maul is just like, you could almost argue it's like a child seeking a parent's approval. He's like so infatuated with him, with the want to kill him, and Obi-Wan just has no regard. He's just like, like if Darth Maul turned around and was like, I'm okay, Obi-Wan would be like, cool. I didn't really care to begin with. I thought you were dead already. But yeah, that's like a little side note.
That's actually I haven't fully watched Rebels, and I plan to someday, but apparently Rebels isn't actually like done the same way Clone Wars never was. Well, wasn't finished up until it was. Apparently Rebels ends with Ezra Bridger, the main character, going with Grand Admiral Thrawn, and like them teleporting, they're going into hyperspace, and that's how it ends. Like them two just like chilling.
Huh.
And like surely that's not the end. That's something I want to see, because I've saw the first 2 seasons and I really liked Ezra Bridger. And are you gonna watch Rebels or no? Can I spoil?
No, I've not much interest in that
So
show.
Kanan, his like master, even though he's not a master, he's just like a. I don't think he was ever officially a
He's a
Jedi
Padawan.
Knight. Yeah,
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
a Padawan who's like,
he like he. I haven't gotten to the part he got blinded, but I think his story's so cool. Like he teaches Ezra, and he gets blinded, I think, by Vader, and so he's literally blind. And then for the last season, he's still helping Ezra, and he dies in the end. Like he's holding back like a huge explosion with the Force, while also holding what is he doing? He's like holding the ship and this explosion back, and he then like he throws the ship like by force to allow it to escape, and he just gets engulfed by the explosion, and it's like but I always thought he was cool, Ezra, and I do hope that they'll bring him in, because I don't know, it's another Force character. Oh, another thing, the Quinlan Voss reference, that was cool.
especially because like they have in the Clone Wars they have their little. There's like a 2-episode stint.
Yeah.
I can't remember what the exact premise is. I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the Fett family though. if I
Yeah,
remember correctly.
yeah, Quinlan Voss was cool. I don't know much about him comics wise, but I just know he was a cool guy.
Yeah, he looks he's very independent.
Yeah, very.
Like he's definitely a Jedi. Like you wouldn't say a grey Jedi, but like he is fully does his own thing.
Yeah, lone wolf. Spookster. Yeah. What else? You know what? Yeah. Let's move on to the Clone Wars, because Clone Wars is obviously a fantastic show. It ties into Kenobi very like heavily, and I just recently finished Clone Wars season 7. So we'll just briefly talk about Clone Wars. What would you say is your favorite arc? Favorite arc in Clone Wars, and if I think it is what I think it is, then we'll give you the next favorite arc.
Oh, this is a good few. Okay, I'm gonna give my favorite arc because I think maybe story-wise it's the best arc, and then I'm gonna give my favorite arc from nostalgia as a child.
Yeah.
My favorite arc, like, I think due to story, is the Umbaran arc, and my favorite arc, like, nostalgic, is the Geonosis arc. The second invasion of Geonosis.
So go ahead and enlighten our viewers on the Umbara and Geonosis arcs.
Okay, so the Umbaran arc it doesn't focus on the Jedi necessarily. Like the whole idea is they're invading like the Republic, but this is before like there's the Empire, and this is back in the day with the Separatists fighting against the Republic.
Yeah.
And Umbara is this like they're essentially loyal to the Separatists, and the Republic is trying to come in and invade them, just take them over because they're like critical for. I think it's some sort of not a trade route, but they lie literally in the way of like space travel. So it's like necessary strategically for them to capture them. And it's a brutal battle. Like people are just dying left, right, and center. The planet is in a permanent state of darkness. Like that's just the environment.
Yeah.
So the clone troopers are already like at a disadvantage. So it follows the 501st, which like just for reference are the Legion that invades the Jedi Temple during Order 66, and it follows Fives and Clone Captain Rex, who are like, if you watch the show, are like some of the most independent thinkers within an army where you just do what you're told. And Anakin, who is responsible for commanding these guys, has to be taken away for I can't even remember. It's some sort of political basis. And who's what's his name? Pong Krell is another Jedi Master who comes in to essentially like relieve command. And he's like, he has like a really good and a really bad record. He has a record for winning some of the most brutal battles like of the war so far, but he has the highest casualty rate among like anybody. And as the arc, like I won't really like keep going on it, but as the arc goes on, you essentially find out that the reason his casualty rate is so high is because he looks at the clones as nothing more than like animals. They are just a means to an end. He can send them into like a cannon fodder. He can just send them in willingly, knowing that they'll essentially do it without questioning. And he almost takes joy knowing that so many of them are going to die. So the arc takes the turn with essentially the clones rise up against him because they're like, we aren't just like pawns. We're not just cannon fodder.
We're not just gonna walk and die.
And it comes out that Pong Krell, he's while he is a Jedi, he's seeking to join Count Dooku and the Separatists. So it becomes before it leads it after a encounter of Fratricide, which is where it's essentially green on green, two friendlies kill each other. Yeah. Like Pong Krell organizes the 501st and another battalion known as the 212th to attack one another, unknowingly, because the idea is that the enemy is like taking their armor and is now wearing it to blend in. So they end up killing each other. And once they discover this, they're like, okay, we need to get rid of him. So it shows. I think what's cool about it is because Pong Krell's character is like just evil, but he's like cool at the same time. But it just shows like these clones who have no business at all going against like someone who's as powerful as Pong Krell is, just like essentially winning. Like winning at a cost, but they overcome him. And Pong Krell is voiced by I don't know the actor's name, but the guy who voices Lee in The Walking Dead Season 1 game by Telltale. So his voice is class as well.
Shit.
But yeah, Umbara is a very, very, very good set of 4 episodes. Would highly recommend.
I mean, Pong Krell's got the 4 arms. He looks cool.
Yeah, and two
double blade
lightsabers.
God, for me, saying the hardest arc is so hard because I try not to include season 7 because season 7 is just all around apart from the Marquez sisters, all around phenomenal. Like I love the Bad Batch. I love those Bad Batch episodes, and obviously the last 4 episodes are iconic. I do like the Sifo Diaz episodes in season 6. I think it's just like the one episode, not the other ones, but
the Sifo Diaz episodes really give
context.
They really show the unraveling of like the lies that the Republic is built on.
I got it. I think so. I think maybe my third favorite would be like when the Night Sisters and the Sarge Ventress are like trying to kill Dooku, and then they make Savage oppress, and they're like doing all this crazy shit. I thought that was really cool. And when they try and kill Dooku, and they poison him, and I think he goes blind, and then
and he duels all three of them,
and he just destroys them all. And
he delivers like such a Dooku one-liner, but he's like, "I don't need eyes to see you," and he just shuts his eyes.
Then second favorite is probably the Fives arc. I mean, Fives is probably my favorite clone,
sad.
and it's very sad. I didn't think that Clone, like, obviously Clone Wars, like, it ends, and you know it's gonna end with the Clone Wars being won and then the Jedi being destroyed. I didn't think it would be so sad, and it was very, like,
It really is.
but my favorite would be, I'll count it as one arc, but like everything Darth Maul does, like when he returns and then he's fighting Kenobi.
Oh, like his rise to power as like a criminal overlord.
Yeah, then he takes over Death Watch and then takes over Mandalore, and he gets the Darksaber and he kills Pre Vizsla, yeah. He kills him, and then then obviously he goes up against my one gripe is he goes up against Palpatine and Savage, like with Savage, gets destroyed. Savage gets killed. He gets captured, and obviously in the comics they say why, but in the show they never explain why he's out, and that annoys me. They never explain what happens to him. You know, how is he suddenly not captured?
I'm sure there's a comic.
Yeah, and basically what they did is for any viewers, they let him leave. So he goes back to the Mother Talzin, his actual mother, or the Night Sisters, which leaves General Grievous there, and General Grievous kills Mother Talzin. It's a very cool comic panel. Like, Grievous has, like, I think 2 or 4 lightsabers, like, stabbing into her stomach.
Oh, that entire, like, sequence of him invading Dathomir. It's like, that's like the General Grievous, like, that's like the General Grievous that isn't a coward.
Yeah.
He, like, the entire he's literally taking, like, a Star Wars phone call, you know, from his little hologram, Count Dooku, while being, like, essentially consumed by these Night Sisters. And he just rips them all, like, apart.
Yeah.
And he just starts marching through, like, the fog with his sabers ignited until he gets to the point that, like, he needs to. And he just blows it up, walks straight in, and like he doesn't say anything. He just kills them. It's so good. Yeah,
I mean, I started rewatching Clone Wars a year back. When I watched it a bit as a kid. I didn't watch all of it, and I was shocked how good the show is. Like, it's phenomenal, and it makes Darth Maul my favorite canon character of all time, and just makes him. It does Darth Maul justice, you know. Darth Maul is phenomenal.
Season 7 as well, yeah.
Oh, Darth Maul is phenomenal.
The hallway. Star Wars is known for its hallway scenes, and Darth Maul has such a good one. Like he just starts like with no lightsabers. Instead, he's like using steel plates that he's like ripping off of walls. He's just fighting this like squad of clones, like, but you can clearly tell that he's almost toying with them.
Yeah.
Like, he's just walking through the hallway. They can't hit him because he's just like essentially sending their blaster bolts past them. And he's decapitating them. He's like brutal. Impaling them.
Cuts the guy's arm off, like, through the door.
Like I didn't even need to do that. That was just like that was like some sick fun almost. But where Darth Vader is like brutal out of like anger, Darth Maul is like brutal out of like
curiosity,
necessity. Like it's just what he does.
It's almost like he has to uphold his persona of being spooky.
He's a good man after all.
I do obviously. You know, let's go over the least favorite parts of Clone Wars, because Clone Wars, it's been phenomenal. It is also
a bit of the Jar Jar Binks and fucking Senator Amidala episodes, because the Senator Amidala episodes are just political. And in a show that's based on a war, the last thing you're really concerned about is like all the nitty gritty politics that go on behind it.
I like the
and then Jar Jar because fucking everyone hates Jar Jar.
I do like the Padme Clovis one with the banking. I thought that was really good, actually. And when
the one where Anakin's like a pilot. Like,
no, and the one where Cad Bane and like he's assassinating like the senators and he takes them hostage. That was really cool. But
Oh, the one on the ship.
Yeah.
Where he has the spider droids.
yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I wouldn't really. I mean, yes, they're political, but I wouldn't really count them.
Well,
as,
yeah, I
like,
guess. Yeah.
Padme episodes.
Uh,
Like
Jar-
there's
the-
one,
the
there's
Jar-
one or two episodes in season 1, if I'm pretty sure, that are terrible. They're like the first Padme and Jar Jar episode ever, and they're following like her uncle. Isn't he like he's like the same species as Greedo?
oh, he gets like assassinated. And they're like, what's going on?
Yeah. Oh, it's terrible. But I mean,
yeah.
that's allowed because it's from like 2009. so
Yeah,
they really-
that's
you
when it
know,
was. That's when it was basically just a kid show.
yeah. No, the show gets a lot darker
Yeah.
as time goes on.
But my least I hate Bob Bad Jedi. Like I hate it, and I don't like much Jar Jar. But my least favorite is the 3-episode arc with the droids. When the droids are still, it's R2, C-3PO.
Yeah.
These two are
The
the
only-
droids,
Yeah. The
And
only
they-
redeeming part of that is
Oh.
Gregor.
and they get stuck on a planet that's just white. It's just like grey and yellow and white.
Yeah.
It's
no, it's
barren.
horrible. It's like the
It's
aesthetic of
3
the episodes.
It is. I watched them all. It physically hurt
Oh
me
yeah,
watching
yeah,
them all.
it's like a rite of passage to watch them. They're horrible.
It's physically painful to watch that. Nothing happens. Like you could say in the Padme episodes, at least there's a bit of politics. It's interesting. In the Jar Jar episodes, some people find Jar Jar funny, and he's always with Mace Windu, and they kind of like vibe well off each other. There's 0 positives about those goddamn episodes with the droids. 0 positives, and I'm pretty.
The only good bits is the appearance of Gregor when he remembers he's a clone commando, and the very ending when the when R2 like sacrifices himself and blows up the cruiser that's filled with the fuel. You know, when they're about to send it into the blockade.
No, actually don't remember.
Yeah, remember it's like oh, wasn't it like, I'm trying to think, or am I mixing up another no, I feel like that was a part of the same one. Like they leave the planet, but I swear there was like something like there was a cruiser being filled, like a Republic cruiser being filled with fuel, and they were going to send it into a blockade of like a political meeting, and R2 like blows the ship up like just out of range, so it basically avoids killing as many people as possible. Oh, like 100% people died. Like I'm pretty sure like 2 ships got obliterated.
By the way, yeah,
But
it's not a 3-episode arc. It's a 4-episode arc. There are 4 episodes devoted to 3 droids, a guy who's inside the droid and is not a droid, and that clone droid. Oh, that hurt
the
me.
guy who's inside the droid is just flexing about how he's some sort of amazing general.
Oh, he's so
but he does
dumb.
he does nothing.
Oh, I hated it. I refuse. Like, I probably will watch Clone Wars again at some point in my life. Never. I'm not gonna watch those episodes. I'm just gonna.
Oh no, yeah. Like once you watch it the first time, you know what episodes you don't have to watch.
Oh,
And the joy of the show is, while there is those terrible episodes, you can miss them and you don't miss out on the story.
Like the show is very. It's very like segmented in its layout, where you have it's very arc, and some of them connect and some of them don't. And thank fuck, that's why I said it. Thank God those crappy those droid episodes are just gone. I hate them. I hate it with a passion.
Oh, and another like underrated arc in my opinion. It also holds some nostalgia. Is the arc in season 2 where Anakin is injured and it's Ayla Secura, Ahsoka, Anakin, Commander Bly, and Captain Rex on the planet with the pacifist people, like the little small like mole almost people.
Oh, the blue guys, yeah.
The Irish accent.
Yeah.
I thought that one was pretty good.
Trying to think. I do like the Ahsoka arcs later on, like when after after like season 1 and 2. I do like the Ahsoka. I really like the episode where Ahsoka goes against General Grievous, and she just she just can't deal with him. You know, like she just.
Oh, the ones where they're on the where they have the other droid, the R4 or something, the gold one, and he's like a double A. Yeah.
Ooh, I know the arc I remembered. Where Anakin has to go undercover as like a slave, like for this woman, for like the queen.
The Sigerians, yeah. That's like a slight hint at Darth Vader within him.
Yeah.
Is that part where Obi-Wan gets like a message from the guy, and literally mid-message, Anakin just like force pulls the little device out of Obi-Wan's hand, and it just pans to his face as he just like he says like I think it's something like filthy Sigerian scum, but like he says it with such a venomous tone that like you can tell he is like frothing at the mouth, like he just wants to kill this guy.
What else? Actually, one arc I wasn't the biggest fan of was the underwater arc with like the shark guy.
Yeah, the one with Admiral Akbar was in it. I can't even remember the name of the prince who was like, yeah, no, I didn't like that one either.
I thought it was so boring, especially because I'm pretty sure that was in a good season, like 5 or 4. I remember
it was a much later one. No, I didn't like that one
yeah,
either.
I got it. Season 4, first 2 episodes. I did not like that at all. I was thinking,
What's kind of funny is I feel like when I watched that arc as a kid, I was sick when I watched it. Like I had a stomach bug or something like that. So when I watch that, it almost brings back these feelings of just being sick. So I'm like, it's almost like a double whammy of just not being good.
Oh,
yeah, no, I don't like that arc. That's horrible. As in the sicknesses, the episodes aren't horrible, but they're not great.
How could I forget when Obi-Wan goes undercover when he takes that guy's face and that's so good when he's working with Candy Bane and he has to go through like all the trials to become like a bounty hunter. And
that's great because Obi-Wan is like double jobbing, like trying to be this like ace bounty hunter while also avoiding Anakin, who is hunting him, because as far as he's like, Anakin was with Obi-Wan when this bounty hunter as Anakin thinks, killed Obi-Wan. So Anakin is hunting him down, and Obi-Wan has to try and like avoid him, but also can't like just turn around and tell him because he's hanging out with these other bounty hunters. So it's some real like double agent type stuff going on.
The final thing is I didn't like anything to do with the Hutts. Anything to do with the Hutts. I don't like the Hutts in general, and I just think it was zero. I thought it was all boring. I watched this Clone Wars movie, and was that the one that had the baby Hutts? I don't know. I didn't like that.
Yeah. No, the Star Wars the Clone Wars the movie is like essentially the first ever episode. It's like a 90-minute episode, and the point of it is Jabba the Hutt will essentially strike a deal with the Republic if they save his son, who's been kidnapped by the Separatists.
My son.
And it's essentially like Anakin being Anakin, but having to babysit Ahsoka, who he's been like given by Obi-Wan, like without wanting her, and then she's got like the little Hutt child. So it's essentially a Jedi Knight who doesn't want to have a Padawan, babysitting a Padawan who's babysitting a baby slug. It's not bad though. Like I like it, especially because there's one scene
I hate it.
where Captain Rex and this one other unnamed clone take out like I don't know what the term would be. I don't know the number. I'm just gonna say like a squad of droids. So if I'm not mistaken, some music from the Black Hawk Down soundtrack, which is done by Hans Zimmer. So just imagine Hans Zimmer music with Star Wars going on. It's pretty funny.
I just love him. The only thing I like from that movie is the meme when the droid when the clone punches the droid and he's like, "Oh, my hand!"
Yeah.
Oh, a fun fact. I remember on the internet looking. Do you remember the Zillo Beast arc? With the big.
That's a really good arc.
I remember people like because it ends with like the Zillo Beast with Palpatine like capturing it, and he's like, "Oh, I'll use it." Like, don't worry, we'll take care of it. You know. I remember people were always like, when's it gonna show up again? Like, what's Palpatine gonna use the Zillo Beast for? You know? Like, oh, where's the Zillo Beast? I'm praying for the day it appears. And it never did.
But they killed it.
No, but wasn't it a thing where Palpatine got like the genes to it or something?
No, because I'm pretty sure the whole point, like, they captured it, they brought it back to Coruscant, and they were doing experiments on it. And the scientist was like, oh, you know, we can avoid all this pain if we just do this. And Palpatine was like, but see, you know, it'll be like, I think the excuse he used was
I got it.
For our
Look
troops
at that.
or something.
At the end of the episode, Palpatine gives new orders to clone the Zillo Beast. Got it. And I remember people were like, oh, yeah, I'm looking at the thing right now on the wiki.
Do not remember that.
I
I
remember.
mean, I don't doubt it happened.
I remember because I was like, oh okay. I remember everyone on like they were joking on it, but they were like, is it obese? Question mark. Like, where is this? Yeah. But yep, it's a beast.
That's another really good arc.
Yeah. Overall, basically, if you're watching, watch the Clone Wars. It is phenomenal. Like,
Ignore the fact that it's an animated kids show
yeah,
at
oh
first. It gets significantly better.
but even like
If
season
you had
2,
Cartoon Network back in the day, you might remember it as like a show you saw,
yeah.
and you'll be like, "Oh, this thing! I remember this being on."
On the
It
wiki,
was like a staple of Cartoon Network back in the day.
on the wiki, it's like I clicked on the Grand Inquisitor, and it's like it's like a picture of him being stabbed, and then it's like nonetheless, the Grand Inquisitor would eventually return. It's like nonetheless him being just stabbed in the stomach with a lightsaber.
Dark Sith powers, you know.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me started on Darth Sion, who literally couldn't die because he was too angry to die. And I'm not talking Darth Maul. I'm talking like he's in KOTOR 2. Now it's the Old Republic 2, phenomenal game. He is a literal rock-faced man who just cannot die. I'm gonna put his picture on the stream because I just think he looks so goddamn cool. He just doesn't die. And like you kill him and then he appears again and you're like, what the hell? Like he's not the strongest, but he just can't die. He is on pure hatred alone. And you
Like
do,
one of the coolest characters to like, not come from that game, but from that like era.
yeah.
Is Darth Nihilus, I think.
The way you kill him, you have to like you help him find peace. I don't remember how. There's a couple of ways to kill him. I don't remember exactly. Darth Nihilus is phenomenal. No, I still think Kreia is my favorite. Do you ever plan on playing the games? Good question.
Oh, highly unlikely that I will.
Can I spoil?
Yeah, go ahead.
So basically, your like mentor for like the whole thing is Kreia, and she is like the main Sith, which she taught Revan at one point, and then she was the master of Nihilus and Sion, Darth Treya, and she is so cool. She's missing a hand, and she only has one hand, and you're like, oh, like she's very force sensitive and whatnot, but she's so strong that she uses 3 lightsabers. And she just floats. She has them. Like she uses the force to float them around, and she attacks people with like her floating lightsabers. Basically, like she doesn't hold it because she lacks one arm.
I get why that is cool, but that's an aspect of Star Wars I don't like. Is where the force is used as like, oh look, I've literally got 3 floating swords.
Yeah. I can understand when
I
someone
think that's kinda
hates.
cute.
Yeah, I'm gonna put that up on the stream as well. I can see why people don't like that. I can fully see why people don't like that. But I think it's badass, especially the way it's introduced. Because KOTOR is like, it's all outlandish. Like I like the in-canon like description where back in those days, like everyone like there was an access to this knowledge which is now like hidden away, and that like the dark side just got neutered heavily until like Palpatine came back. Everyone is like stronger back in the day just because the times were war. But
The Old Republic is like filled with people like stuff like Star Killer was like, I'm not gonna say the norm during the Old Republic, but it's like highly more likely to see someone like him.
Like Darth Nihilus literally ate planets.
He consumes planets solely because he is hungry for like life.
Like he basically has no physical form. He's like a cloak.
Yeah, like his mask, his like, would you say his soul is like connected to his mask?
Yeah,
like, he is like a smoke body, like in robes, and he'll like fade out of existence if he's not like fed.
If you look at the stream, you can see the trio that is Darth Treya, Darth Sion, and Darth Nihilus. And Darth Nihilus for me is where it crosses the line a bit, where he eats planets. But
yeah, but I mean, in the comics, Palpatine can like shock planets.
Oh, I mean, in the comics,
from his hands. The Star Wars comics are like insane.
Yeah, like Luke's like jumping on like Star Destroyers and just like destroying them.
I can't remember if it was Yoda or if I think it's Grandmaster Luke can literally pull the Death Star out of space.
Yeah. Comics go insane style. But
And then they have Avalon, isn't that her name? She's the mother. Like there's the son, the daughter, and the father, who are all in the Clone Wars, by the way.
Yeah.
They have their own arc that's like really trippy but really cool.
Yeah.
And the mother is like mentioned briefly, but we never see anything of her. But she's in a Star Wars comic, and she's like she's fucked, like looking.
Oh,
like,
the white.
looks,
Is she the white one with like the spiky
with
things?
the blonde hair, and her mouth like goes up to her ears almost. Like it's just like teeth. And I can't remember what the exact thing behind her is, but she's like ridiculously powerful.
Yeah, those type of things are a bit like wacky, but yeah.
Oh, they are entire 100%.
I mean, KOTOR is like, I highly recommend playing Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, especially like one's getting a remaster as well, coming out like next year, 2 years. So I mean, play that. And if KOTOR 2 gets a remaster, I will coom, because that game is phenomenal, and in my opinion, a lot better than the first one. Just because it's a lot more darker. It talks about like the morality and the philosophy of the Force, and like what is it to like lose your connection to the Force, and like what is the Force? Like it's so good. And yeah, just clear up the screen a bit. So yeah, just Star Wars. Like this is the best time to be a Star Wars fan. Do you see the Andor trailer?
No, I didn't.
That's it's about Rogue One, the not Jyn Erso but the other guy, the other main guy with the mustache.
Yeah. The one who like they hug each just before the planet gets destroyed.
Yeah, it's about him and how well he's in it. I don't think it's about. I think he's in it, but it's about the Senate during the Empire. I'm pretty sure. And
that's kind of cool.
Yeah, like I don't know. I assume maybe Bail Organa's in it, and that was a cool touch in Kenobi, but it's about like
Nero from Sons of Anarchy.
Oh, of course, I'm sorry. Or do I mean that guy from Dexter? He plays like a detective in Dexter, I think, or some rich guy.
Oh, does he actually?
Yeah, he's such a good actor. Oh my god, what was I saying? Yeah, Andor trailer, and the Andor trailer also has a character from a really good character from Game of Thrones in it as well.
Game of Thrones people, man.
And I don't know how important he's going to be in it, but he's a fairly important character in Game of Thrones later on. Really cool. He's like an older. He plays I'll show you a picture of what he looks like. Andor. Oh my god. Kai. Here we go. Man, like he looks like a real I'll send it to you on Discord, and then I'll show you on the stream. Look at that's not it.
Whoa!
Oh, it's Kenobi.
Is that Ewan McGregor?
Him.
Ah.
He looks like those real snobby Imperial like people, which
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you look at the stream, it's the people on the Death Star that were like taking credit for everything, and you're like, oh yes, Darth Vader, like, what is the Force even real? They say something like that, and he like just starts choking them.
Yeah.
It's like I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Disturbing.
Yeah.
And then there's another scene where like the guy just drops dead like into frame until like he dies off camera and then falls on, and just Darth Vader walks past. He goes, "Apology accepted."
Oh. Yeah, he plays well, I assume he's going to be spooky in the show, but he plays a twisted character. Well, not twisted, but slightly twisted character in Game of Thrones. A corrupt like scientist, basically.
Oh, ew, no.
Well, not.
I never liked those type of characters. I think the only ever type of like that archetype of character that I've liked has been Hugo Strange.
Hugo Strange.
Awesome.
Oh, you said Hugo Strange, and I'm thinking that's not Doctor Strange. And I'm thinking Hugo the movie with Asa Butterfield, and like is his name Hugo Strange?
The like fucked up scientist is like a type of character that always makes me feel so uneasy.
Yeah, that's the point though. He's so icky. Yeah, Hugo Strange he's an iconic Batman villain. Also in Gotham and in a lot of other games. Hugo Strange is great, but Qyburn, that's the name. He's icky, but not as icky as you think. But he's also fairly. He's cool, but he's also a bit. He's not super icky. He's not as bad as Hugo Strange.
Yeah, no, like, cause Star Wars has like to go back to like Star Wars comics. There's a guy, I can't remember his name for the life of me, which is like really annoying. But he's a guy who did. If you watch Empire Strikes Back, you know Lobo. How he's like a person who like has like that like he has like that robot thingy kind of almost sticking out of his head.
Oh,
like
yeah,
he is
Lobo.
a robot.
Yeah. I had no idea who that was
until
I googled him right now.
Like I don't know if he is, but like picture him.
Yeah.
There's like this guy, like this mad scientist, who would literally kidnap people and like remove their brain and put that sort of thing in and just sell them off as slaves. Like they're now basically a human droid kind of thing. Like,
is it Dr. Cornelius Evazan? Oh no.
Yes,
Cornelius
Evazan.
Cornelius Evazan. Yeah.
Does he have a really fucked up face?
Yeah, his nose and his eyes all fucked up.
Yeah, him. That's like one of the coolest stories because, like, looking at him, like in typical like mad scientist fashion, he always escapes until Boba Fett was sent after him. And I don't know if he always looked like that or that was after his encounter with Boba.
So if you look,
like
if you
Boba
look at
has
the
to go through his like lair of like just traps, and he gets through the whole thing, and I'm pretty sure he flamethrowers his face or something. And I was like, that's one of the stories that makes me think Boba Fett is cool.
He's cool in those stories, but I still don't rate Boba Fett.
There's another story where he, I'm pretty sure he like, he has a grapple hook within his like gauntlet. He like takes a lightsaber from a dead Jedi and starts dueling someone else.
Personally, I'm not a fan of I like it when they do a bit, but I don't like it when non-force people
sensitive
whip out. I don't like it when they do well, because that doesn't make sense. Like when Finn uses it and gets clapped, makes sense. When clones like pick it up in like the comics, and that's cool. But I don't like it when like some bloke picks it up and he starts like clapping people. You know, like come on.
Really, I think the opposite. I think it only works with Mandalorians, given that they're meant to be warriors, because like, you know, they can have Beskar swords, which are like not lightsabers, but I mean they can go against the lightsabers. So essentially, it's just a sword fight.
Honestly, I don't think we'll have time to go into the Mandalorian, but that's fine today. But I, in general, I love the Mandalorian, but I'm not a big fan of Mandalorians. I like.
Oh, as in you like the show, but you don't like the Mandalorians.
I like their lore, and I like. To me, they're like when I say I don't like them, I like them. I got it. So you know the way, like you don't like when you watch the movie and you're like, oh, I don't like the bad guy, but he's not a bad character. You don't like him because he's the bad guy. Yeah, that's how I don't like the Mandalorians. As characters, they're really cool. The lore, like Mandalore itself, and like Mandalore the Great, and everything about that, and the way, that's all really cool. But as people, I don't like them because they go toe to toe against the Jedi, and I'm like, hey, I don't like that. Like I don't like.
I mean, it does kind of shatter your view of like if the Jedi are supposed to be this great, how are they getting fucked by like? Like, you know, they are fighters and they're literally trained as children, but like they don't have this magical force that's built up to be this like super powerful thing. It's like, why can't the Jedi literally do like, not a Darth Vader on it, but you get literally like force push him back and just go, oh look, he's knocked out, woohoo. I think
the problem stems from, I don't like when like in comics, I don't like when someone like just a gun wins. Like the Punisher's cool, but I don't like when the Punisher will be someone like strong. Like if the Punisher kills Captain America who snipes him, I'm like, yeah, okay. But if Punisher beats like Wolverine, Iron Man, any like relatively strong person, I'm like, what, how? Like, no. Like I find it boring.
Punisher kills the fucking Hulk.
I find it boring when a person with a gun just does all this shit, you know?
I mean, yeah, because like their fights aren't gonna be like, you know, like hand to hand or anything. It's literally gonna be, oh, he gets like precision shot with FMJ bullets.
No, I do take satisfaction in the fact that the Mandalorians they do the whole because Knights of the Old Republic is right after the Mandalorian Civil War, where where a Jedi called Revan helps. He joins up against the he helps the Republic.
Oh, and that's how he wears the mask. Yeah,
he helps the Republic alongside his friend Jedi Malik, and then they turn to the dark side. I'm not going to spoil what happens in the games, but this is before the games. And they just get like when Revan, it's still a slaughter, but they clap him, and then from that point, Mandalorians are like basically they're kind of like humiliated after that, and then obviously during the Empire they get like the Empire like blows up, like you don't blow up Mandalore, but they like do something to it. I don't know.
Yeah, they crippled the planet.
Yeah, and I'm like, haha, fuck you.
I think a cool thing about the Mandalorian though was finding out. Like, it's kind of something that gets brushed over. I feel like when you find out, you're like, oh. But it's the fact that, like, Din Djarin is, like, when you're watching the show, it's made out that he is, like, a Mandalorian, which he is. But you find out that he's actually a part of, like, this religious sect
Death
of
Watch.
Mandalorians.
Yeah. Death Watch is really cool.
Which was, like, class to find out, because it's, like, given that Mandalore is, like, a planet of warriors, it's inevitable that they've had, like, many, like, you know, warlords who, like, the planet is ruled by a warlord at any given time. Like, that's like, it's not really a political leader.
Well,
so just to see that he's like a part of like a sect that isn't this all good, like, great one. It's like, oh no, they're like super religious, they don't take their helmets off. It's like, oh, that's kind of cool.
That is touched on in Knights of the Old Republic 1 and 2, especially in 2. It's not. So let's just say a companion you have in 1 is a Mandalorian, and in 2, he refuses to take his helmet off, and you know who it is, but you would never you know who it is, but you never see his face, and you can't take the helmet off and shit. Because he like rebrands himself for reasons I'm not gonna say as Mandalore the Great, and he's like, hey, I'm not that person who I was. I am, and I'm not taking this off anymore. But I love in Mandalorian when Bo-Katan takes the helmet off and he's like, you can't do that, stop.
Yeah, no, he's like, you're fake.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Like, if I'm not mistaken, like, I very well could be. Like, doesn't he question like where she got that armor? Because he's so perplexed by the idea that she just took her helmet off.
He's like, how did you get that armor? Like, what Mandalorian did you kill to get that?
Yeah. I love it. Like, it happens quite quickly how much he gets his Beskar, but I love the development of his armor. As he sheds like brown leather pieces for like
shiny
metal,
Beskar,
like chrome. Yeah. I also love the scene where he's fighting the shadow troopers. They're obviously the droids. He also does this other, like, this is like one of those weird like little things you pick up on. But when he's dueling, what's the name of the general, the guy who has the Darksaber again?
Oh.
Like, what's his character name?
Just call him Giancarlo Esposito while I look this up.
Yeah, that dude. He does like this cool thing where he's dueling him, but fucking Din Djarin has he has like a staff. And he like pins the staff into the ground. Your man hits it, and it causes he essentially parries the attack, and then hits the staff with the back of his heel to flip it over himself. So the momentum of that kick, it carries into like the hit that he gives back to him, and I was like, oh, that's such a cool like little move that he did there.
Moff Gideon, that's who he is, the Moff.
Ah, yes. What's the name of the actor again?
Giancarlo Esposito.
Ah, yes.
And guess where he's from?
Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Denmark.
Denmark?
Yeah, in Denmark.
Wait, is this like one of those things though that he was just born in Denmark but then lives in like California for the rest of his life or something? Or was he actually like grown up in Denmark?
when he was 6, he moved to New York. But for 6 years, he lived in Denmark.
Yeah, that's longer than I would have thought.
And his dad is an Italian stagehand and carpenter from Naples, and his mom is was an Afro-Puerto Rican opera and nightclub singer from Alabama.
He's got the multicultural.
Literally. It's funny because he can play, like, he's got the his complexion. He can play like South American people, but he also like doesn't have to, and he can play like. He's a great actor. He's a phenomenal actor, and he's in Mandalorian. He's in as we discussed, Breaking Bad, in Better Call Saul.
Don't forget, he's in Far Cry 6.
Exactly. Oh, was I laughing? Am I serious? Apparently he's in Maze Runner, but oh my god, he is in Maze Runner. I completely forgot. Oh my god, have you seen the Maze Runner movies?
No, I haven't.
He's in Maze Runner 2 and 3. I can't believe it. I
didn't even know that set of movies had. I didn't even know they had 3. I thought there was 2 of them.
Yeah, another what's her name? I actually don't know. Well, obviously Effie's in it. She's second main character basically.
Oh yeah, isn't she the one who has like some really? I remember you talked about she has some really stupid development in like the second movie, like she like switches sides or something, or not switches sides, but has this like daft idea.
Switches sides, yeah.
Yeah.
It's daft in the comments it's daft for her, but it makes sense in she's like wrong. But if you think she's right, you're daft. You know what I mean? Like she's clearly wrong. Actually, no, it's not that. No, it's fine. It's fine. Maybe the way she comes about it is wrong, but no, it's good. I like the Maze Runner movies.
She's in Pirates of the Caribbean, I think.
Yeah, she's in the new one, which I haven't seen. So.
She's not gonna top Keira Knightley though.
No, well, I doubt it. Well, she could, but I doubt it.
What's even the story with Pirates of the Caribbean now, given that Johnny Depp? Oh yeah, for people watching, Johnny Depp won. Whoop.
Yeah, for Johnny Depp won. So Pirates 5, baby.
Oh, yeah, literally.
Sorry, Pirates 6, baby. Pirates 5 already came out.
You be Amber Turd.
Apparently
they're trying to appeal that now though.
Yeah, but they won't.
Because she actually can't pay it.
Well then, I don't know. Sucks to suck, Amber Turd.
No, literally. I saw a clip of some guy who like, as the thing was announced, he was like, "What's her net worth?" And it was like 2.5 million. He was like, "She can't pay that 10 million."
I'm sure she can get the money somehow.
Get it from Elon.
Yeah, literally. That's I only figured out. Viewers, if you don't know, Amber Heard went out with Elon Musk, which is like what? Like cheap. Like that's one of the weirdest things.
Before or after Grimes? I'm assuming after.
Well, he's with Grimes right now, so surely it's before.
Yeah, but did they not like? I thought they broke up at some point. No. I thought they had like some sort of like breakup. No, maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. I kind of avoid Elon Muse.
I don't like Elon.
He gives me the creeps, to be honest.
Elon's very he tries like his facade's dropped recently, but like he's trying to get like the public on his side, and like it's worked a lot. Like people love Elon. A lot of people started to like see through him in the last couple of years, especially now when he literally said that Tesla people they cannot work at home anymore. Like they have to come in, and if they do less than 40 hours, they are liable to be fired.
Jesus Christ.
So that definitely didn't help him, but yeah, you know on the wait I think it's only right to finish today talking about Elon. With our topic, I think we had a great episode. Really good having you on.
Appreciate it.
Hopefully we'll see you. We'll catch you with the other Owen to be able to do a LA Confidential episode.
Oh, that'd be pretty good.
But for now, everyone just And look, like and subscribe on the YouTube. Go check that out. Follow Twitch. You can't subscribe on Twitch because we don't have no followers. So just follow on Twitch. It's free and doesn't cost you anything. And make sure to tune in for the next episode. Probably next week, but the day is hard to say. But next week there will be an episode. Make sure to tune in. We'll talk about something good as always. And yeah, thank you everyone for watching. And bye bye.
There, boys.